Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're a first-time watcher, we test GPUs, build computers, and a bunch of other stuff. Today, we are testing out this minimum system requirements GPU-wise for ARC Raiders, and that's where this comes in. This is a 1050 Ti 4GB OC edition by Gigabyte. Pretty chunky cooler. It does have a 6-pin connector here. The temperatures did very well in the game. So I was looking at the web page for ARC Raiders, and it said 1050 Ti, 4GB, but didn't say, hey, what FPS are we going to get? So I tested it out, 1080p low, medium, and epic settings just to play around at epic. Obviously, it did not run epic anywhere near 60 frames per second. But we'll put the web page here just so you can see that. I didn't find any like, hey, this is what you should be getting. But at low, 1080p low, it did very well. And we'll show that to you coming up next. All right, we got the Gigabyte 1050 Ti 4GB card in. We're on 1080p low, native, nothing enabled. We're going to show that to you right quick. Here we go. So full screen, AMD FSR disabled, VSync disabled, NVIDIA Reflex low latency on and boost. No AA. We're at 1920 by 1080p. And low everything else. And let's see what we're getting. Reset those 1% lows. Right off the bat, we're getting 60. I have a feeling we won't get that as we get out here. But here we go. 54, mid 50s. That's not bad. Completely playable. And it looks pretty good on low still. As you start to look out in the distance, like you can see where I'm pointing at, it looks a little weird. Completely fine. I don't need to see that far out. I'm good close up like this. Everything all the way down here still looks good here. All that looks good. I'm happy with that. So we're getting right at 58, 1% lows at 50, 0.1% lows at 42. See if we can shoot anything. Terrible shot. Don't worry about that. There we go. All right. Let's get up here. We'll go inside and see what a grenade does to our performance when it explodes. They got some pretty big ones in here. So we're going to go ahead and take the trigger grenade. Take that. Take 3 of them. We'll go in here. We're going to breach this door real quick. So far, no lag spikes. 16 millisecond response time on the frame time. Getting 58 frames per second right now. The 1050 Ti is at 99%. It's working. Everything's looking good though. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, we got 3 on there. Let's test this out. Boom. All right, we dropped all the way to 45 frames. So if you're in a heavy grenade situation, you're going to lose that FPS. So it might throw a lag spike out there. So just be careful of that. But not bad. We're back up to 54, 55 frames per second. Not bad at all. Now, I was playing around with the upscaling a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I found to be the best solution to keep that right at that 60 frames per second. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. Settings. So AA, we're going to go to TAAU and leave it on manual, which is a render resolution of 73%. We're going to turn that back on, reset those 1% lows. Getting 67 right now, 1% low, 62. It'll dip just a little bit, but this is your best case scenario unless you want to use frame gen, but the lag was just a little too much and you could tell. So it wasn't a great thing to use. But we're getting frame time, we're getting 14 milliseconds. Not bad. It all still looks really good. We'll go all the way back down here. Check out that tree we looked at last time. Oh. And we fell. All right. Getting 71. Looks good. Far away, not so great, but close up looks very good. This is the best setting I found. We could probably crank that up just a hair from 73% render resolution to maybe 75 and keep it right at that locked in at 60. Right now we're getting 70, but that 1% low is 61. So we could probably move it up just a little bit, but I put it on auto and it was actually spot on, I think. So if you want to use a 1050 Ti, I know there's a bunch of people who are on very tight budgets, especially now that RAM prices are out of control and you're just looking for a super budget card. Maybe you're coming from a 780 Ti or even a 960, something like that, and you need this budget card. This works pretty well. It's a $60 card. You can find them 40 to 80, and it's a decent budget card for this game. Other games, not so much, but this game in particular works just fine. All right, now that we've tested all those, we're gonna try medium just to see how it goes. So we're gonna turn TAAU off, and we're gonna go medium. We're gonna turn that back on, reset our 1% lows, 42 frames per second, not that great. It's hovering right at 40, 1% lows at 38. Let's see how we do when we throw a grenade again. All right, here we go. Got that in there. Go back in here and throw them. $34, not too bad. A good 6 FPS drop. Right back at that 42 frames per second. I wouldn't play with it, and if you noticed, the frame time went from 16, 15 milliseconds to 24 to 25 milliseconds, so definitely incurring some extra time on that. So for giggles, we're gonna try Epic. Obviously, it's gonna be terrible, but I thought I'd show you anyways. There we go. I reset that, 18, 19 frames, and we're getting half a second of frame time. Pretty bad, but you can move around. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be like 8 to 10. So yeah, not too bad. With 1080p low, 1080p low with AA, the TAAU at 73%. Again, you could probably go to 75 and keep it right at that 60 frames per second. But I wouldn't use this card anything else other than low. If you like this video, we have plenty more to come. Drop in the comments if you want to see another GPU. Just put what GPU you want to see, and I'll see if I have it, and we will try it out on this game or any other game you want to try it out on. I've got a pretty extensive library, and I appreciate everybody watching the videos. Until next time, I'm out.